Hello, I'm Dahl Russell, and today we continue cello practice with Hello, I'm Dahl Russell, and today we continue cello practice with Cara, working through the Piatti method with me as your cello buddy. Today we're on exercise 3. And this is, in the new edition, this is under the scales and exercises in first position normal is the top of that section. We're actually making some headway because today we have the first time in the Piatti book that we have slurs. You'll notice it's that little arch mark between two notes. Now, sometimes people can get slurs and ties confused. Slurs move from one note to another. A tie is from one note to the same note, and in the tie, you don't play that second note. It's just a continuation of the same note. But a slur mark, that arch, which looks just the same as the tie mark, the difference is that it connects two different notes. Now, we have been playing slurs in some of the exercises already. When we're taking two notes to a bow, that's a slur. Or 3 or 4 notes to one bow, that's slurring those 4 notes. Or a 2-note slur. Yeah, let's get it in tune. Little flat. That's a 2-note slur. 3-note slur. But this is the first time in the Piatti method that he has actually notated slurs for us to work on. So what we're going to do in this exercise 3, this is by Sebastian Lee. I believe that's his first name. We're going to, as we often have, start with our pizzicato version of this, just to make sure we're getting our fingers in the right place and the right intonation and our timing right as we look through. Now you'll notice with pizzicato, there are no slurs in pizzicato. So this is just, we're going to keep that in mind for when we pick up the bow. So we'll take it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep your back straight. Relax your shoulders. So how did that go? Pizzicato. You may notice my pizzicato is a little high because my fingerboard is short. Your fingerboard probably comes down to about here. My fingerboard was shortened. Long story. Baroque cellos often have a shorter fingerboard, so I play my pizzicato a little higher so I have a place to rest my thumb. I could play it down here, which would be closer to where you do. Let's try that pizzicato one more time, just to make sure we've got our good intonation. Get your start note ready, and then relax your hand in that position after you've... Now you probably have a vice-like grip on that thumb. I know I do. So then now relax your hand, maybe even loosen your thumb up a little, with your fingers staying in place. And we'll try it a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, before we start playing with our bow, just a reminder, we're playing everything in first position right now. We were staying in first position. In the coming exercises, we'll start extensions, extending our finger a little bit. Now, some people disagree about how extensions should be done, and I'll talk about that when we get to the extensions. But so, hand in first position, unless you're an advanced student that's coming back to do this to work on advanced positions. But we are working on our basic positions. So first position. Now pick up your bow. It should be tightened and rosined already. Check your position. Loosen up your thumb. We're going to take this slow again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember the slurs. 3, go. So how did you go with the slurs? Now, some people have trouble with slurs in that they don't get a clean sound. They get kind of a... You can't be tentative with a slur. You have to really have your finger ready and the bow ready. So we're going to try this again. Maybe a little bit faster, remembering only slur where it tells you to, otherwise it's a full bow, and remember to get those nice, full, strong bows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slur. How did you do with getting a nice full sound and getting those slurs nice and clean? I want to point out something. In the second line, 1, 2, 3, 4 measures in, you have this. Now you want those notes to be nice and clean, but you also want them to be smooth and complete. You don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, because that would be a quarter note and a half note. You want half note, half note. So that might be something you want to take out by itself and work on. And then try it with an up bow. And so that you get that nice and smooth and a legato smooth line between those. Now, this time, you're going to play the main line, but I'm going to play the second line so you can hear it with the accompaniment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready, go. It's one of the first hot days here. Everything's kind of shifting around. I'm having to fine-tune a lot. So how did that go, playing with the accompaniment? We can try that one more time. And now in my accompaniment, I have an extension, which we don't really work on until next time, but we're going to try it. But right now, you continue with the top line one more time through with you playing the main melody line. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready to play, go. So how did that go for you? Obviously, if you were listening to me, but I'm still having a little trouble with my placement of my extension on that. But you get to try it now too, because now we're going to shift and you're going to play the second half with me. This is the second line in each one of the two lines. We put our bow down and try this pizzicato. That's our first note, so we can get ready there, loosen up our thumb, keep our fingers in position. Now this begins on the third beat. So I'll count in, and we'll do this nice and slow, the second line, the harmony, the accompaniment, or the bass part, however you like to think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, ready, go, rest, and. One, 2, 3, 4. Get ready, extension. Get that second finger on the next string ready. Let's just do the measure that has that extension. It has the C sharp in it. So instead of playing, we're playing. So let's get on your G string. So G, A, B, C, and now slide your fourth finger up. So just try going back and forth. It may hurt a little bit. You may have to lift your elbow. And you're not used to putting that kind of pressure and stretch. Some people don't like extensions for that stretching reason, and we'll talk about that next week. But Piatti thinks you should stretch. And another way you can test it is to go up to the next open string. Wait. So C, C sharp, D, C sharp, D. So now let's try it in the measure where we have that. Just that same measure over and over. And now this time move on to do that measure and move on to the next measure. Back to your normal placement. Good. Hopefully you got that. Let's try it one more time. Sharp, natural. My natural was a little sharp right then. Sorry about the ringing. I'll try to cut that out afterwards. My natural was a little sharp, so we're going to try that one more time. Sharp. Natural. Okay, so now let's go back to the beginning of the second line and play it all the way through pizzicato before we pick up the bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, ready, go, rest, 2. Get ready for that extension. Keep your fingers down. Move that 2 over and your 1 over. Now the whole, as I said, the stretching for extensions, fingers down, this is something that is part of the Piatti technique. Other techniques want you to do things differently, but this is what we're working through right now. So we're going to try to be faithful to the Piatti exercises. So pick up your bow, and now we're going to play through the second part. We'll take this slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember your ties. 3, go, rest. 2. Nice and smooth. Slur, slur and sharp. Natural. Nice, full and smooth. Connect these if you can. Slur. 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 How to go with that slur before the sharp. We're going to play this again. Maybe try it a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Rest and... Now, if you're someone that has a small hand, when you're coming down to that sharp, you just simply may not be able, no matter what your hand position and arm position, you're trying to keep this kind of straight here, but no matter what your position, you simply may not be able to stretch just with the finger enough. If you don't have that, or if it really hurts, by all means, then shift your whole hand using your thumb. Just shift your thumb down a little and back a little. But your thumb remains under your second finger so that you always have your hand position the same. And you can also try it with your first finger. So those are additional exercises that you can do. And this is for the Piatti method. He wants you to work on stretching and stretching your fingers. But if you have a very small hand, it just may be painful. And if it's painful, don't keep doing it. Maybe a little discomfort is learning to stretch. But I have large hands and I have a little discomfort when I stretch. But so you can also shift your hand just slightly, and that prepares you for further shifting later on. So now we're going to have you play the second part, and I'm going to play the melody line, so we can really hear this song. I think this is one of the first pieces that really sounds like a song, and part of it is having those slurs. Now, remember, because I'm playing a different part this time, I may have slurs where you don't have them, and vice versa. So be sure to watch your music, your second line, and I'm going to play the top line, the melody line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. How'd that go? My A has gone a little flat. As I said, it's one of the first warm days here, so I'm going out of tune a lot. We'll do that one more time. I also want to remind you that when you're practicing this one, don't try to do a vibrato. It does sound lovely. Why? Because we haven't worked on it yet. And the purpose of this right now is that you get, I said before, vibrato is like putting makeup on when your face isn't ready. You want to get your finger positions really good. Obviously, mine are off sometimes as we practice, and that's what practice is for. So don't try to cover up your intonation problems with vibrato. Play a flat tone and try to get it as smooth and beautiful as you can, because then later on, when you judiciously add vibrato, you'll get an even more beautiful sound. So this is the last time that you'll play the bass line and I'll play the top line. Whoop, count in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, ready, go. Now you'll notice one of the things we did not work on today was shifting where those slurs are. You could easily try it like this on your own, and I encourage you to do this when you're working on it this week. Try adding, just doing a slur for each measure. Up bow, down bow, what you learn by doing that is you kind of understand why he did the slurs where he did them. When you try different slur groupings, and that's when you're in advanced pieces, you'll pick out some of that on your own. You'll be deciding where you want to do that. But in pieces like this, he has a specific reason. He wants the slur to be because that has to do with the phrasing of the notes and the melody. Speaking of which, you're going to go back and play the melody now, and now I'm going to go back to the accompaniment to finish off this piece. We'll do this 2 times, a little more slowly this time. Get ready with your note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. I started wrong, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, you. Did you remember to play the melody line, or were you playing along with me? This time, play the melody line if you didn't that time. If you did, good for you. And also, I want to mention, if I talk to you about my intonation was bad on a note and you don't hear it, that's okay, because that's part of what learning is. You start to pick up things that many times I'll have beginner students say, I can't hear the difference in what you're talking about because it's an increment of sharp and flat. So if you can't, that's all right, because your ear will start to get tuned into these things. So you're playing the melody and I'm playing the bass line. This is our last time on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, ready, go. You. Good work on exercise 3. We're going to continue now, turning the page to just the first exercise in the next section. In the new edition, this has a section title called Varieties of Tone, and it has a little blurb about artistic interpretation, the variety of tone color. Read those when you're not practicing with me. Sometimes just sit down with your book and read the things that they say. Now this will seem like maybe too easy. This is just about loud and soft and you need your bow, because you can't do this with pizzicato. So in general, if it doesn't say whether you're doing up bow or down bow, you're doing down, but we're going to break it up anyway. So you'll notice it says P, and then it has a crescendo, and then F and a decrescendo. That's piano, soft, and forte, strong. So we start off soft, and it's 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Soft, soft, loud, loud. Let's see how that goes. soft, loud, soft, loud. Now that's breaking them up. The first one, let's just do the first half soft. Oh, I was wrong. That should all be one bow. Let's try doing the first half just soft, no crescendo, and the second half loud. Soft, all one bow. Soft, loud, up bow, soft, loud. You may not hear it. You have to get used to hearing these shades of differences. Now let's try all one bow, soft and getting louder. Soft, loud, and then fade out to soft. Soft, loud, soft. Soft, loud, soft. I hit another string. Soft, loud, decrescendo, soft. If it helps, you can just try it on an open string. It's a great exercise for all of your open strings to practice the finesse of your bowing. We're going to move on to the next section where we do pianissimo on a down bow and then up bow, sforzando. Now sforzando is suddenly strong, so it should have more of a pop there, and then it'll get soft again. So let's try this. This is two bows because it's half notes. So soft getting louder, sforzando, and fading out. Soft getting louder, sforzando. Now I'm doing a little too much, which isn't what you're supposed to do. Sforzando is just a dig in. Fade out. So let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. And now try it with an up bow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me try that one more time without hitting my G string. And now we're going to do a whole note pianissimo with a crescendo and then start the next note pianissimo for another 4 notes. 2 crescendo and pianissimo. And remain soft. Let's try that again. It's starting with the down bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, getting louder, and pianissimo, stay nice and soft. You may find that you get a little overtone sometimes. And that probably means you just don't have quite enough pressure or enough speed on your bow. Let's try that one again. 2, getting louder, 4, soft, 2, 3, 4. And now we'll continue to the next one with a sforzando, decrescendo to pianissimo, and then rise to a sforzando again, and because we have a repeat. We'll start with the down bow. Sforzando, fade out, pianissimo, growing louder, sforzando, fading out, pianissimo, and getting louder, and then ending with forte. Let's try that same thing again. This will be our last thing, with an up, starting with an up bow though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sforzando, fading out. Pianissimo getting louder. Sforzando, fading out. Pianissimo getting louder. And then end forte. Now, even just with a one-note forte, crescendo in the middle. So think about that, trying to get it as even as possible loudly. And then you can think about a slight crescendo. It was still forte, but it had an even larger forte in the middle. There's so much to work with in this exercise. We could do a whole week on just this, but I'll let you do that on your own. And so that varieties of tone exercise with the crescendos and decrescendos, there's a whole lot of work there. And it really involves listening. It can feel very boring. So one way to break it up is to do it on each different string. And I wasn't doing anything that was there particularly. So you do it on each different string. That can help break it up. This one towards the end that has a different fingering, go ahead and do that on each string. This has a lot to do with the next piece that comes up. It doesn't prepare you. It also has staccato in the next exercise, which is... So you can be thinking you could even practice your forte and piano with staccatos. You could do a piano staccato and a forte staccato. Piano. So much to work with on this variety of tone, crescendo and decrescendo. There's a lot there. So have fun with it. I hope you enjoyed this today, a little longer than usual. We're getting into some really serious music. So I'm sorry I'm not every week because I'm dealing with some other scheduling issues. So I hope you're getting something out of these when I post them. And I'll see you soon.